feel about like just learning more about segregation and learning more about integration and all that came with the pros and the cons?
I would say the first sector is we want equality.
Say it again.
We want equality. The idea wasn't integration. We just wanted the same respect and the same treatment that white citizens were receiving. Black citizens wanted the same thing.
At least from what I see, is how like we stopped circling our money in our communities, and we see communities that in Mississippi, in the South, that just start to deteriorate.
I feel like back then there was a little bit more of a clearer agenda, you know, like desegregation, you know, Jim Crow laws, abolishing those laws.
First-class citizenship. Yeah.
Right. I think that we all need to be on one accord and not just like black people, because I feel like the movement has expanded so much.
Because there's so many things to hit.
Right.
Like,
there's so many things.
you have gender, sexuality. Like I'm saying, how do we hit those? You cannot talk about civil rights history without talking about Emmett Till. Emmett Till was a beautiful black young boy who was born in Chicago, 14 years old, who's coming to Mississippi. And so one day, him and his cousins are going to the local grocery store, the Bryant's Grocery and Meat Market. There is an alleged interaction between Carolyn Bryant and Emmett Till, where he supposedly whistled, basically, quote unquote, harassed her sexually by doing that exchange. 3 days later, Carolyn's husband and brother-in-law kidnapped Emmett Till, and they drag him out in the middle of the night, and he is tortured, shot in the head, beat, and then a cotton gin is tied around his neck and he's thrown in the river. Once again, he's 14 years old. Most historians will say the murder of Emmett Till sparked the civil rights movement. A lot of young activists will say, I remember when Till was killed is the reason why I decided to use my voice. So really quickly, just to set the stage, you can see it. To set the stage, parts of the building, it's back there. So students are looking for the Bryant grocery store, and the sad part is it's right in front of them. It is ingrown trees, the roof is gone, bricks have been taken or bricks are missing. There is really an orange caution fence around it telling people to keep off. But once again, no further than maybe 100 feet, there is a gas station next to it that has been preserved.
No, once it gets to that bad, where the state has to get involved, I feel like they should take over.
They should take over.
They should take over.
Because the people aren't thinking; they're thinking about money. They
wanted to collapse and stuff so they can hide the truth. They don't want nobody to come down here
and
say, "Hey, yeah, this is what they did to the boy."
So the people that own this building are descendants of the original jury members on the Emmett Till case. Descendants, children, and so they received funding years ago to help preserve this building, but that money went into this building, right? They did that on purpose. My Emmett Till is Trayvon Martin's, right? And it's gonna constantly happen, sadly to say, right? Whether that's Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, right? It's repeating itself over and over and over. So we ask you a question, how do you preserve a story that is disappearing in front of your eyes on purpose?
I wish they could have preserved the inside like they would do any other museum that had a huge impact on Black community. And I feel like when you spend money elsewhere, that could have been there. And it shows you just how much they care, or how they really don't care about our history.
We can't take these things for granted. We can't take the kind of work that the National Park Service does for granted, and that it's important to remember to take conscious actions to make sure that places like Bryant's store don't fall into the disrepair that they have.
We wanted to be intentional in taking them to a local museum, right, which is the Mound Bayou Museum, where sometimes you get some of those personal stories, right, or stories that are not even talked about, that are not even on the walls, right? You're getting these first-hand accounts from individuals that live in Mound Bayou, because the staff members that are working there, who also run the museums, are people that live in Mound Bayou.
We realize that this town here has one of the most remarkable stories of African American history in the country.
Mound Bayou was and is one of the oldest black towns founded after the Civil War in the United States. They had everything that a white town had at that time period, Mound Bayou had.
And it just so happened that when you go on the other side, you see what the Till story started being told is because the Mound Bayou was so established in what it did, we were able to be to protect all of those people that came to the Emmett Till trial. We were able to protect them right here in Mound Bayou, Mississippi. So you'll see where these are actually things that were in people's homes. It was the old social media of the day, and it told people what to think. And it also told people what to think about black people. So whether you were black or whether you were white, you would think that black people were subhumans. And so you'll see the narrative as you go down. You're gonna see what we call the good, the bad, and the, oh yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Having that conversation with the Gen Zers and trying to understand how we leverage our technologies at this time period, right? How do we actually leverage social media now? How do we leverage our technology now that we have to ensure that we are capturing the injustices, right?
Let me just say one other thing. In the back of your mind, there's a subconscious. And if people keep painting pictures that are lies to you, and you keep seeing it over and over, it's going to get in your subconscious, and you will begin to believe those things. We want to expose the truth. We have a right to expose the truth, and we're tired of living and not seeing the truth. So that's why this museum is here, so we want to show the truth.
It can start with yourself, or find a collective of like-minded people to figure out what is the way that we can preserve our stories. But I think the key is having a conversation. And that was the significance of really starting the Gen Z Summit.
I feel like there's information out there about any subject. It's just whether you look for it and you try to find it.
You have to set boundaries for yourself. You have to know when enough is enough, when it's time to put down the phone, time to put down the iPad, time to put down the computer, and get out and explore and learn more. But at the same time, the world is only evolving even more, and more things are starting to turn to technology.
It's also a way you need to teach the kids. Like, you can't just teach it how I'm talking to you, and because everybody learns differently. So it needs to be a way where we can connect with the kids. To take them on trips like this, it's important that we connect them with the history and then the steps that our ancestors stepped in.
But our generation is gonna have to get out there and actually do something about it. There's really nothing else to do. Like she said, the generation before us are the teachers. They are the doctors. They are, the history, the leaders. And they are not leading. Like here in Mississippi, they don't teach the stuff, and it's sad. It is really sad, especially because it's our state, and it should be required for us to know these things.